Should you get a Skoda Fabia? Well, I'm going to try and find out. This one is a colour edition, which means you get a black roof, you get some black mirrors and the black wheels, but there are so many other different colours. I'm going to show as many of them in this video to you as possible so you can make the best decision. There's two very clear attributes this car has. The first is it does not in any way feel like a small car. I love Skodas, man. This is like the sensible mate you ring up when you want some good advice. That's what this is. So I'll text her first. First observation is the price. You may or may not know that this is based largely on the VW Polo, which you'd think is more expensive than this, but actually no, the Skoda is more expensive than the Volkswagen.
That could be because it's a slightly better car. In fact, Skoda over the last few years have become velmi dobrzy, which is Czech for good. Oh, here are some Czech people celebrating how good their cars are with some dancing and a procession.
These are your miles to the gallon wheels, which I call electric EV wheels. Look, you can see there's some miles to the gallon going on in there. They start on 15. These are the 17s, which I think look okay. Do we like these wheels? I don't know, what do you think? But anyway, the theory of this is that there's a lot of rubber, so this should also be a very quiet car, right? One thing that's clear to me is that this is already a much better looking car than the Polo. Sorry, but it is. Look how unordinary the front is. You've got this enormous grille. The plate there where the radar cruise would go, but these slats come out. You've also got some nice creases on the bonnet, and the whole of the front of the car appears to be looking down close to the road, almost as if it's about to do a rally. It wants some gravel. It wants gravel and mud.
Of course it does, because Skoda are legends in the rally field. Here is the Fabia RS Rally 2. It's not just popular with rally teams, but also on games. Yeah, and speaking of legends, Leasing.com have been proving for 20 years that a lease on your next car is a ton cheaper than buying one.
And if you squint for long enough, the back could be mistaken for an Audi A1, provided you don't want the dancing lights, because this doesn't have that. Inside that boot is nearly as much room also as a VW Golf and my sandwiches. One thing different between this and the Polo might be the interior. For example, you've actually got a knob twisty thing to turn on your aircon. You've got a nicer screen potentially than the Polo. I just like the Skoda UI. Right, I just prefer it. Also the sound, you've got nice parameters here to change the sound. It's called Bolero, the sound system. Don't laugh, it's actually okay. This one doesn't have nav, but it should have wireless Apple CarPlay, which this has been connecting to for a number of days. So you might want to check if this needs a software update. Over here, of course, I don't think you need it, because Skoda have a look at this. This is the analog cluster for the Skoda. I think it is the best analog cluster in the world. Here's the digital. I've got it in this mode at the moment, which is 10, 20, 30, 40. Those are obviously my revs, but it's a bit misleading because your speed's in the middle and it says 10, 20, 30. So you can quickly look down and think, well, I'm doing 30. You're not. You're doing 33,000 revs per minute. Whatever it is. Anyway, if you look at this, these are the different modes upon which you can drive in. This is a little bit laggy, but it's okay. It comes with the car. Would I want it? Probably not. But the highlight for me, of course, is the steering wheel. With this missing bit, there is no better steering wheel for the money. I love Skodas. Now, we did mention road noise earlier. I said that because these wheels are small, it should be a quiet car. It is a quiet car. At this speed, it's a deliciously quiet car at this speed. However, there is some road noise, and it doesn't actually sound like road noise either. It sounds more like a sort of a sound. It's coming from, whether it's the transmission tunnel or the middle of the car. I think what's happening is that the noise from the tyres is creating a resonant sound, which is unusual. Normally a road noise sound, say for instance in a BMW, is very obvious. It's not in this. It's almost like a hum. I have to mention that it's there.
Ah, look at me being all honest there, like a reviewer and everything. Building trust like Martin Lewis. Oh, and speaking of money saving, before we do the clever stuff about this car, let's talk about money, starting with insurance.
Typical insurance cost for a Skoda Fabia will be £334 if you want to service it. If you want to service it, brilliant. Your service pack is going to be about £19 a month. How do I know it's a Fabia? Well, because it says so on here. Price-wise, you've got a Monte Carlo here on Leasing.com for this much, £235 a month, £2,123 advance rental. I think that's really cheap. Also, the Monte Carlo has more stuff on it than the colour edition. Back to the clever stuff. You always need a pen and you always need somewhere to put it. There's a nice little slot for it there. There's another little clip for your, I don't know, car park ticket, credit card, and the same up there. And then round here, the obligatory rain device thing. Right, you get two of those, and you've got a little handle on the door here, which I like, and in the back, small little thing. There's a little wallet for a mobile phone, and if you spec it, there's two ways to charge it as well in the back. And in fact, Skoda say that there are 43 different smart ideas in this car that are clever, that other cars don't have. For instance, you can fascinate your friends because you have an ice scraper.
The Monte Carlo edition we mentioned earlier has 150 horsepower. The one I'm driving is 110, which is more than enough. Easy to understand engines because they're all 1 litre, manual or auto.
And the miles per gallon is very good as well. They all do more than 235 miles to the gallon. No, they don't. This one's doing 30 today, and if we collect car, since start 30, since refueling 35. Okay. The engine, that's not really fair. The engine's been on pretty much all day, on and off. It's cold. Yeah. 35? No. I'll put it in post. Here it is right now. A couple of things you might need to know about. The armrest is not there. That's an extra. Along with, for example, on this car, there's no front parking sensors. There's no reverse camera. And if you want an ambient light pack, it's £150. If you want the LED lights, that's £1,300. One thing that is clear about how this car drives is the dependable nature that it does everything, and the comfort. There's two very clear attributes this car has. The first is it does not in any way feel like a small car. It feels easily the size of an Astra. There is so much room in here. The suspension is pliable without any wallow. I love Skodas, man. I'm going to start my top three with the negative, just to put it in perspective. If you've got headphones on, you'll be able to hear how little road noise there is after moaning about it. I feel like I might have done it a disservice. It might only just be on some... Actually, it is quite quiet. I'm doing 60 now. So make of that what you will. The other day it was making a horrendous noise. On this surface, it's all right. So anyway, there you go. Right, number one, gonna go with how easy this is to drive. This drives you places. It feels like loads of vision. This door is massive to get in and out. Loads of vision. That's my number one. Number two is the looks. I think this is the best looking out of the Polo, the Seat, and this. This one looks great. There's so many different brilliant colours, two-tone colours. Good. Number three, I'm quite a fan of the brand. I might have mentioned it, don't know why. I just think it's their attitude, the way they're doing things, just quietly going about their business. I think Skoda are good.